What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and happy Monday. Welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name's Kevin. You're joined with us for the Monday Weekly Market Watch, where we go over Lorcana news, meta trends, and card prices. Check out these recent tournament results from this weekend from the Wildcard Cyclone case tournament. This is the top 8, looking extremely diverse with purple steel, emerald steel, a red, yellow Mufasa deck, which is really nice to see. Shout out Fuzzy Pancake over here, and shout out even Mix Up Marco, one of our Patreon members, for doing pretty good at this tournament right here with green purple. But it's not just that tournament. There's a bunch of tournaments happening. There is a 53-player tournament right here by the Margolis Gaming Card House, where first place was Amber Steel. Second place was this Blurple deck that I thought was pretty cool. So shout out Very Hungry for putting Blurple on the map. But there's a lot of meta trends going on this weekend because it's looking like the meta is very, very diversified, especially compared to what it was like about a month ago, right? So we're still seeing a lot of Sapphire, a lot of Amethyst, and we're going to break down some of these market prices today. Starting off with Iago Giant Spectral Parrot. Now, we talked about this on Friday, and when we looked at them on Friday, they were selling for around 50-75 cents for this rare plus the extra shipping cost. But today, this card has shot up in market price. Check this out, from a quarter all the way to $4. That is actually insane. Love to see it though. $3.95 is the market price now. Lowest verified is $4.50 with $1.31 shipping. Then it's $5.96 by Ziggs Card House and Elite Strategy Gaming. So this is at least a $5 rare, maybe even $6. This also comes in the starter deck. By the way, if you guys didn't know, this card comes in the starter deck as a foil, and we mentioned it last market watch when the price was pretty high. They were selling for around $10+ last week. Yes, $15 for a cold foil, which is the same price as the starter deck MSRP. So instead of buying the single card for $15, you probably should have been buying the starter decks for $15 because you get the whole deck and a pack with that, right? But I think news has caught on that this is a starter deck foil, so the price has come down a little bit. $10 though, still $10. That means these starter decks definitely have some value. You can buy one of these, and that's already $10 worth of value right there in this one card alone. And the pack itself is around $6, so that's really cool to see. Iago Giant Spectral Parrot making moves in this meta. Very popular to play this with Peter Pan Shadow. You give this rush on the turn it's played if you curve from Peter Pan Shadow Finder to this card, which is very nice. And it's a really big body for Amethyst engines right now. Ruby Amethyst, Sapphire Amethyst, however you're playing the deck, I think you can utilize this card now that there's less steel decks running around with like a bunch of popularity like they were before, with Sapphire still being popular, or even Sapphire Ruby. I feel like this card wasn't the best, but now it got a little bit better. This card is the reason why I'm running Teeth and Ambitions now in my Ruby Amethyst deck, because it has Vanish, so you can just get rid of it with the its Vanish ability. But yeah, starter decks are only $15 for the Arcasia's Island starter that comes with this Iago if you need it. So if you're looking to pick up this Iago, just get the starter deck instead. I do want to talk about Tamatoa price updates because these are hitting $40 now. We talked about this on Friday. We were thinking it's going to hit below 40, and today we have a lowest verified of $39.98 by Singles by Bay right there. And there are some sales that are happening for around $35 even at the recent low. So Tamatoa happy as a clam, no longer in the $40 range. However, Maui Half Shark is just everywhere. I feel like a lot of people are just playing a Half Shark deck nowadays, and it's showing in these prices. $65 lowest verified for a Maui Half Shark. This is from Azurite Sea Set 6, so some of the Set 6 legendaries still keeping their value. Dark Vessel Gaming, $65 with some extra shipping costs right there. There's only 11 cold foils left, and the lowest verified is going to be $84.68 by Lorcana Origins TCG. After that, we have Empire Gaming, $86.73 for your cold foil Maui Sharks, almost $90 still. Doc Bold Knight is going back up in price. This was around $15 last weekend when we saw it on Friday, but today the lowest verified is now $18, followed by $21 by BND Collectibles. So if you did not get your docs at $15 or less, they're selling for more than $20 yesterday even. Look at this, $22, $23, $21, $23.99. Looking like a lot of people picking up docs nowadays. I think it's a great strategy to be playing a card that says draw 2. Cold foils are still selling for $30 on TCG Player. Rated E Gaming has them for $30.07. Then jumps to Pandemic Quest with $35 right there. Shout out Pandemic Quest right there. And then $40 by One TCG Games. Let's see if it hits $35 or $40 by the end of this week, shall we? I've been seeing a lot of people play the Aerial Sonic Warrior in their Amber Steel deck, especially after Kurt Spice shared his Amber Steel list that he was playing on the LCCC with, which is really cool. So Aerial Sonic Warrior kind of trending back up in price in the recent time frame. Lowest verified is 250 with $1.50 shipping, and it stays around there. So around $3 to $4 for this super rare that comes out in Ursula's Return. So if you have these, I think they're becoming relevant again, and that's still pretty cheap for a cold foil, by the way. Less than $5 for this cold foil super rare, which has been seeing a lot of play. There is an enchanted rare version of this card, but still, if you don't want the enchanted, I think the cold foil is your best bet if you want to play this card because it's pretty cheap right now. Or you can find the non-foil for around 50 cents. Some other cool cold foils that I think are very trendy right now. Diablo Spiteful Raven. This is being used in a lot of Emerald Amethyst decks. It's a great way to be able to shift Diablo or to challenge opposing Diablos because he's an evasive character with Challenger +2, so I don't have to re-strength on challenge. That in combination with the crab seems pretty good to clear a lot of threats like Maui Half Shark 2. Cold foils only about $3 today. Hobby Overflow $2.33 with $1.31 shipping, and then $2.50 with $1.31 shipping. Some non-verified sellers here too, but it adds up to around $3 to $4 post shipping costs for your Diablo Spiteful Ravens. Gotta talk about Pirate's Life today because I think Pirate's Life is going to be going back up in price soon. I feel like this card is so relevant right now in the meta. From $5, getting very close to $10 again. $8.98 lowest verified by Dungeon Games IN. $7.99 after that by Black Harbor Gaming. So not quite there yet to the $10 mark, but it's pushing $9, and I just feel like I see this card so much in this meta. Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire, even a bunch of green red decks are playing this. I'm seeing this card everywhere, and I think it's one of the only ways to really combat the opposing like fast Amethyst strategies that we have, like Blurple or Amethyst Steel can be a little aggro sometimes. So whenever I'm playing those decks, I feel like once they start dropping Pirates Lives on me, it's hard to come back. Or once that red-blue deck starts dropping McDuck Manors with Be Prepared and Pirates Lives, then it is really hard to get back into the game. So it's no surprise that McDuck Manor is also going up in price a little bit. These have been steady around $2, but today lowest verified is JT's Market for $2.50 with $1.50 shipping, and then most of the non-verified sellers have it here for around $2. But then the next verified seller is going to be $3.34 with some extra shipping. So very close to a $4 foil for your McDuck Manors, which is a common. Very cool for commons nowadays that are relevant in the metagame because some of the foils are pretty expensive. Moana Island Explorer is an uncommon that is starting to see a lot of sales movement. People are playing this in their Ruby Amethyst decks because it's a 4-strength body, which can clear a Diablo in the Cove. It can clear genies as well, which is important in the mirror matches. But yeah, that curve with Peter Pan Shadowfinder into a 4-cost evasive character is pretty powerful, and she even has an ability that says when this character challenges another character of yours gains 3 strength this turn, so you can even give your Peter Pan 5 strength or another character a bunch of strength. So yeah, this was a throwaway foil up until last week, and today you're gonna have to pay at least $2 to $3 for this card. Let's see, there's only 11 listings actually. There's 9 listings actually. Sorry about that. Lowest verified is now $3.97. There is some other sellers here that have it for 99 cents, but you're paying $3 to $5 shipping anyway. So this is about a $4 to $5 cold foil, which is very interesting. We're seeing a lot of buying trends in the current meta, along with these cards, uncommons, commons, even enchanted rares are starting to see some bigger buying trends like this. Finders Keepers. This is now selling for around $70, $90 is the most recent sale that happened today. There's also another one for $85, $90, $85, $73, $80. All the ones that were in the $60 range are gone. They all got bought out throughout the weekend. As you can see here on 4/18, 4/19, and 4/20. That's the last time you were able to find Finders Keepers, pun intended, for around $60. And today, you're going to have to pay $150 if you want it right now. Trading Collectible has it for $149.99. Then Moo Moo Milkshake for $150. Finders Keepers going through another buyout. This card's pretty good in Blurple. It's good in Ruby Amethyst. I think it's very good against the red-blue decks right now, especially when they're just playing Maui Half Sharks. You can respond with Finders Keepers and kind of slow the game down yourself too. Some cheap cards I want to point out are the D23 promos. A lot of the single D23 promos are just being listed on TCG Player right here, and they're selling. So for this Bruno was around $25, and now you can find it for around $15 for the D23 Bruno. If you just want to collect some of the singles, they're pretty cheap right now. I know the Vanellope's also kind of going down in price. This Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer D23 promo has been continuing to go down in price from $100 to the lowest verified now being $92.97, so around $95 now for this Mickey Mouse. So if you've been holding on to these since last year, they're not going up in price. And I think that speaks to the amount that were available. Maybe people are just getting rid of their Lorcana, some people coming out of the collector space. So I feel like some of these collectibles are getting sold off. And I know they had like a raffle for this D23 collection recently, to claim the rest of them, I guess, that they had in stock. But yeah, we're seeing a lot more of these get listed by the day. It's this one and the Vanellope for sure that are getting listed at like $15. So that's something to look out for. If you have those in your collection, be sure to make sure you're valuing them at the right price. But that's going to be all for the main market trends for the video. I do want to go over some PSA slabs that have been selling for Lorcana, like this Disney Lorcana. This is the first chapter Enchanted over here, signed by Juan Diego, who is the autograph. It's a PSA 10 auto that sold for $280. First chapter Enchanted Hades, not too expensive, honestly. I thought it'd be worth more. A D23 Mickey Mouse, the ones we were just talking about, there's a PSA 10 that sold for $134. That's pretty cool when the raw is like $60, right? There's also some other enchanters that have been selling, like this Peter Pan PSA 10 for $115. Here's a $55 cold foil Diablo PSA 10. Love to see it. That's kind of hilarious. A Cusco from the national promo side events selling for $90 PSA 10, which I think is pretty cheap, but the Cusco itself raw sells for like $35 anyways. Here we have an updated Elsa recent comp, a PSA 10 Elsa selling for $13.75. Elsa Enchanted Spirit of Winter around 1400, getting close to that number. There's also another one that sold though for 1500. So from 14 to 1500 is what the Elsa is still selling for, which is not the all-time high. We've seen it hit very close to 2K, but we are not there yet. If you have that D23 Mickey we were just talking about, a recent comp here for the PSA 10 is $350, which is way more than that $100 raw price. So if you got a nice looking Mickey, maybe you might want to get it graded instead of keeping it raw. This one's nice. Snow White PSA 10 Enchanted Rare selling for $200. That's pretty cool. I think the Princess Enchanteds are pretty nice, but that's just my opinion. But that's going to be all for this Market Watch video. My Lorcana Goons, thank you so much for watching the Market Watch. If you're still here, like, comment, and subscribe if you can, because it does support the channel. And let me know what you're thinking of the current meta post ban list now that we've had like a week or two to kind of appreciate all these different deck types. I feel like a lot of these top cut deck lists that I'm looking at are very different. The meta looks very diverse to me. There's a lot of color patterns happening. We even have like a blue-green cow deck over here in this tournament, and there's tournaments every weekend. So huge shout out to inkdex.com for having all these tournaments and all these deck lists published. I'll leave a link in the description down below for anybody who wants to look at those. But until then, remember to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons, and we'll see you goons next time.